Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, today's Creator Cut edition is to dive into the RevSure form response agent. But before we get into it, let's wait for another 30 seconds for other folks to join as well. All right, we have a few more folks with us today. Let's get into it. So, I'm Tejas. I look into the agentic AI product here at RevSure along with strategy and growth. And I have my colleague Shantanu here with me today.
Hey guys, I'm Shantanu. I'm part of the data platform team here, working as a principal engineer. I've been with RevSure for almost 4 years now, ever since its inception. So yeah, Tejas, please go ahead.
So, before we get into RevSure form response agent, I'd like to introduce you to RevSure and give you a background of what we do. So, RevSure is a full funnel AI platform for go-to-market B2B teams. And at RevSure, we like to think about the funnel very differently. We don't just look at marketing in isolation. We look at how marketing interacts with every other motion, SDRs, BDRs, AEs, customer success, even partners across both online and offline channels. That's what we mean by full funnel. Now, and within that, we solve for three main use cases. The first is marketing optimization. Here's where we help you track, attribute, and measure the performance of all touch points in the buyer's journey, not just looking backwards, but predicting forwards. Now, imagine knowing not just how much pipeline a campaign has influenced so far, but how much it is likely to generate going forward. That predictive insight helps you identify what's working and what's not in near real time. So you can allocate your resources and spend to the best campaigns and maximize ROI. The second is pipeline acceleration. Now, the next challenge isn't just ROI, it's driving speed to pipeline. Not every lead or account is worth pursuing right now. So we help you prioritize the ones most likely to convert this quarter or the next and suggest next best actions with our AI-driven propensity scores, whether that's for marketing nurture or SDR follow-up. And this is all powered by our predictive pipeline propensity model, ensuring GTM teams focus on the right opportunities at the right time. And lastly, revenue predictability. Now, we give you predictive visibility into how much pipeline you are expected to generate this quarter, the next quarter, and the quarter after that, across the company by region or by segment. And because the insight comes early, you can take action before it's too late, optimize your marketing mix, adjust sales focus, and realign GTM efforts to hit your actual pipeline targets for the year. So in short, RevSure's full funnel AI doesn't just help you look back, it helps you predict, prioritize, and act across the entire revenue engine.
Yeah, so as the Tejas mentioned that RevSure's motto is primarily the full funnel AI attribution. What's powering that is basically the five major components that you see on the screen. The first important part of this module is the data ingestion layer, which is basically talking to your CRMs, your marketing automation platforms, your real-time website traffic, your chat tools, all of that, and bringing the data into RevSure. The second part is basically unifying all of these data points across the different data sources, merging leads, accounts, and opportunities across Salesforce, HubSpot, all of that, stitching the campaigns and the activity touch points, and basically making the data available for attribution. The third part is the AI engine, which is responsible for doing any predictive attribution, journey analysis, prioritization, and any sort of forecasting for your sales pipelines. The agentic AI layer, which is going to be the focus area for this conversation, it is basically kind of exposing GDM agents to the stakeholders for scoring, forecasting, optimization, and any sort of next best actions where you just want to target some sort of leads, high intent leads, or kind of focus on certain cohort of users and kind of want to take actions in like near real time. The last component is the activation layer, where we have the actionability kind of surfaced into different sort of sources like Snowflake, your CRMs, your audiences in LinkedIn, and all of that. So we have the capability to write back these data sets that RevSure exposes into all of these systems, which can help you kind of take any sort of actions within these systems, right?
I'm going to take a pause here for a second in case there are any questions. Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah. So as mentioned about the data integration part, so RevSure is basically talking to your CRMs. As you can see over here, we have like around 20 to 30 different integrations already built out in RevSure, and we cover the whole breadth of the GTM stack, where we start from your marketing automations to your messaging chat applications like Slack, Drift, Intercom. We have a lot of enrichment partners as well, where you can kind of get more insights around the data sets that are residing in your CRMs or your web traffic. We also support ABM funnel motions, where we integrate with tools like Sixth demand-based rollworks. And we also have direct connections into the data warehouses like Snowflake and BigQuery. So what powers these data models is like a set of algorithms that you can see over here. So the primary one is the linkage resolution strategies, which is responsible for connecting the leads, contacts, accounts, opportunities across all of these systems, because the duplicates can exist between your maps, your CRMs, and so on, right? So we have like a combination of deterministic ID matching algorithms, and then we also have sort of fuzzy matching algorithms which work on like some approximate matches, which are kind of useful to resolve scenarios like basically you have like an account which is called as TCS and you have a Tata consultancy services. So you would be able to kind of figure out that these are essentially the same accounts and kind of merge that into a single view. The second thing is the cleaning and the deduplication of the records, which is kind of like an extension of the previous one, which is just to kind of eliminate any noise or double counting in your sources. We also integrate with various which supports like data capture in real time using the change data capture mechanism. So one prime example of this is the CDC mechanism in Salesforce. So we basically can create listeners for you, which can capture like campaign members or lead creations or op creations or account creations in real time from these systems. We also have our own first party pixel, which gets deployed to your website and which is able to kind of capture any sort of web activity engagements or any sort of chat interfaces that people are engaging with on your website. This also happens in real time, and this is something that you will see in the demo later today. Apart from this, we also support API-based integrations with all of these systems like Google Ads, LinkedIn Ads, Facebook, any ad system for that matter. And there are like systems which also exposes webhooks and WebSocket integrations that is also supported in RevSure. And if nothing works, then we also have the capability to do the custom dataset ingestion via any sort of CSV uploads or connecting to your data warehouses like Snowflake. So one primary example of this could be like you have a lot of event which are running in your systems, and you don't know how to track them from a spend perspective in Salesforce. So typically, what happens is that these spends would be captured in some spreadsheet somewhere in a Google Sheet or in an Excel file, and RevSure can just kind of import those data points directly and then just ingest it into the RevSure data model. Over to you, Tejas.
Thanks for that. Now that you all have a good understanding of RevSure and our entire architecture behind the product, let's get into the RevSure Agent Builder itself. Now, the RevSure Agent Builder is basically the foundation of our agentic AI. You can build and deploy your own team of agents operating across the full funnel in simple no-code drag and drop format. And all of this can be managed directly by RevOps, marketing and sales leaders. There's no engineering support required, and it is designed to give GTM teams full control and execute actions autonomously and on repeat. The next thing we'd like to introduce you to is the architecture behind our agentic AI, which Shantanu will cover.
Yeah. All right. So since we have set the stage already, we'll just dive into the form response agent architecture. So how this works is basically we can think of it in three layers. The initial layer is the capture layer, which where we can kind of pull these events in real time, whether it's a form submission on your website, which is collected by the first party pixel that we talked about earlier, or it can also integrate with any sort of real time event, including like website visits or like a CDC capture from Salesforce, for instance. So once the data is captured, the next step is the processing layer, which is responsible for enriching this data using all the context that RevSure has already collected for this user, right? So this could be like things like, what kind of web pages you have engaged with previously, what kind of, content that you have downloaded, etc. Right? And next comes the execution layer, where essentially we want to kind of take any action in terms of, kind of enabling any actions on this. So one prime example of this is like, you want to just send a personalized email, right? So as soon as you know that, this particular person has engaged with a white paper, you can just kind of target your email content to focus on that white paper or any kind of follow-ups on that. And then this will basically be sent to the user in real time. And this will probably, kind of increase your chances of conversion. Yeah. So going into the next slide, so we can see over here is that we have this agentic AI architecture, right? So in the context of the form fill agent, so we'll just talk about the components which are kind of making this happen in the background, right? So we have a rule engine, right, which is responsible for kind of you can say filtering out which kind of events need to be considered for any sort of triggers, right? So in the previous slide, we can see that we have set up the listeners to be working on a specific web page, right? So when a certain group of users visit this particular web page, then you want to like take an action on top of that. So this kind of capabilities is powered through the RevSure rule engine, where you can just define like a set of filters, which can essentially like decide that these are the events on which the actionability has to be done, right? So as soon as we have an event on which we need to act upon, it is basically dumped into a message queue, which is currently based out of like a pub sub topic. If you guys are familiar with that, so we are currently based out of GCP. The whole architecture is kind of set up on that. So as soon as we have like a pub sub message drop, there's a trigger that gets invoked, and it is responsible for kind of creating a LangChain workflow in the background, right? And that workflow is basically built out of the nodes that you will see in the next slide in the agent builder screen that is present, that is part of the RevSure agentic AI modules, right? So as soon as we have the LangChain workflow built out, then the next step is kind of interacting with the RevSure data graph, right? And bringing out all the context that RevSure has stored about this particular user, right? As I was mentioning about, the kind of web pages, the kind of content this person has been engaging with, right? And then we send all of this context as a prompt, right, to the LLMs, which is currently powered by the Google Gemini family. And the output of that is like a personalized email, right? And towards the right, you can see that there is like a host of different, tools that the RevSure agents are currently interacting with. So we have like Gmail integrations where you can just send the emails directly, or you can see HubSpot where you can kind of just dump all of this information onto the contact object, or you can just create a contact list out of it. So all these sort of integrations are currently possible through this.
All right, thanks for that, Shantanu. I think that gave us a good background of how the architecture behind our agentic AI works and how our form fill agent actually also works in the background. Now let's actually get into the agent itself. I'd like to start with why we built it. Now here's where it gets exciting because traditional form responders are just generic. They send pre-written emails that lack context. They'll just say thank you for filling our form, blah blah blah, book a demo. But with RevSure, every response is powered by full funnel intelligence. It's enriched with the leads details from LinkedIn and connected to all prior engagements such as webinars, nurture clicks, SDR conversations, marketing touches. And now that means three things for GTM teams. You can instantly engage with these while they're still warm, not hours or days later. And this is good engagement. This is not automated generic engagement. And the second is this is a real-time revenue orchestration engine. Now, every touch point across the sales and marketing stack is captured instantly so the agent can understand and recommend the personalized next best action, which is powered by RevSure's full funnel context. And lastly, it's marketing automation without the busy work. No more manual inbound responses. Your teams can focus on generating demand, where the agent takes care of inbound conversations at scale and accelerates pipeline. So, instead of a cold generic auto reply engine, here the email reflects the buyer's actual journey, acknowledges prior touches, builds trust, and nudges them towards the next step. This is how you transform a form fill into an opportunity in pipeline. Now let's have a look at the agent itself. Now here you can see how the agent builder for the form fill responder looks. Here's where the entire configurability and event conditions can be set up. As you can see, for the purpose of this demo, it's configured to our attribution ebook on the RevSure website, which is captured by the RevSure first-party pixel, as we discussed earlier. Over here is where you basically give it a small prompt to guide the way the email is written. And the tools section is where you can actually set up your own SDR, and you can connect your Gmail so that the emails go from the right account and from your SDRs. Now let's run the agent and actually have a look at what the output looks like. So this is the page where right now the agent is sitting and watching and waiting for responses. So I'm just going to fill up my name.
Yeah, so you see in this demo, they just will be submitting a form on the website, and immediately the agent in the background will capture this, and it will just apply the rules that we have configured in the builder, where it is looking for this future of B2B attribution web page, and it is just going to invoke the agent run, which is just going to see what all activity stages has been kind of engaged with in the past, and just bring all of that context, pass this to the LLM, and just generate like a personalized email out of it.
So while the agent generates an email and understands all the prior context, I'd like to show you how the journey timeline where the agent is actually getting all its information from. So as you can see here, the agent is getting all this context. You can see here that it's got the page, the form submits, it's got page visits, it's got my form submit of a marketing attribution quiz, it's got every single email touch, every single interaction that I have made, which is captured by RevSure, is taken in as context for the agent. If you look here, every email, every form fill, it's all captured and all understood by the agent, which then understands what touches to use as reference and what to actually write the email around. So here's an example of an email that's come in. You can see here that it's understood that I've engaged with the agentic AI quiz, and I've downloaded the future attribution ebook. And then it's also suggested a next best time for me to get on a demo. And it's framed a problem statement based on the interactions that I've made. So, this is why we call it real-time revenue orchestration. Every inbound form is no longer a passive capture, but it's an active, personalized touch point that accelerates pipeline. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. If we'll take any questions if there are any now.
Right. Thank you.